The Dirty Dozen stands out as one of the most popular war films ever made, renowned for its thrilling action and ensemble cast of Hollywood tough guys. Yet leading man Lee Marvin harbored a distaste for the blockbuster hit, deriding his most famous movie as unrealistic crap unworthy of his own military service. Join FactsVerse as we separate the combat myths from the reality regarding Lee Marvin's concealed contempt for the classic that made him a star. Marvin found the film inaccurate and unrealistic. Lee Marvin's primary grievance with The Dirty Dozen was that he felt it presented a sensationalized and unrealistic portrayal of war that failed to capture the true nature of combat or military experiences. As a decorated Marine veteran who saw intense action in the Pacific theater of World War II, Marvin brought first-hand knowledge of warfare to his role as Major John Reisman. However, despite praising the film as entertaining, he bluntly referred to it as crap that had nothing to do with war. Whereas The Dirty Dozen relied on dramatic license to ratchet up the action and thrills, Marvin stressed that real war was filled with long stretches of boredom punctuated by moments of sheer terror. He took issue with the film's bombastic tone that made warfare seem like an exciting adventure. In his view, this failed to respect the grim realities of combat soldiers face. Marvin also felt the characterizations in The Dirty Dozen were shallow and leaned too heavily on war movie cliches. He was especially critical of the ensemble cast being too old to realistically portray special operations soldiers, joking these men were not prepared for combat but guys waiting for retirement. Compare this to his reverence for the later war film The Big Red One, which Marvin called a much more satisfactory representation of the war. Based on screenwriter Samuel Fuller's own WWII experiences, the film aimed for authenticity aligned with Marvin's perspectives. It presented long stretches of tedium, followed by wrenching battles, highlighted by the futility of conflict. In the end, Marvin's central issue with The Dirty Dozen remained that its primary purpose was to make money rather than offer meaningful commentary on war. The blockbuster escapism sold tickets, but failed to capture the demoralizing slaughterhouse aspect of battle he wanted films to convey. Though proud of his performance, Marvin called the film a dummy moneymaker that relied on spectacle over substance. Problems during filming. Behind the scenes, Lee Marvin's well-documented alcoholism proved a major hindrance throughout the chaotic production. His erratic behavior and drunken antics increasingly tried the patience of director Robert Aldrich, as well as fellow cast members. Marvin's struggles with substance abuse stemmed from his traumatic war experiences years earlier. His heavy drinking routinely disrupted the tight filming schedule, as the actor would disappear for hours-long binges in local pubs. Fed-up crew members often had to track Marvin down and practically drag him back to the set. One infamous incident occurred during a complex scene requiring Marvin to drive a military truck with Charles Bronson's character in the passenger seat. But when cameras prepared to roll, the lead actor was nowhere to be found. An angry Aldrich dispatched staff to haul a visibly inebriated Marvin back to the studios, where he was plied with black coffee in hopes of sobering him up. When Marvin stumbled out of the crew's car upon arriving, Bronson had seen enough. He confronted his drunk co-star, bluntly threatening him. While likely not meant literally, it encapsulated the simmering frustration that Marvin's benders had created among the cast who were eager to complete the film. Marvin's habit of disappearing to local drinking establishments created major lag times in filming. The director and co-stars alike often covered for his absence, though their patience was really tested. By the end, his commitment to the bottle over the film had generated a tidal wave of ill feeling despite his formidable performance. In fairness, many close to Marvin understood his alcohol abuse was fueled by the painful memories of seeing combat firsthand during the war. The actor later admitted to drinking as an escape mechanism from the lingering trauma. But his inability to control his addiction nearly derailed the production of The Dirty Dozen several times. Marvin's military background. To understand his grievances with The Dirty Dozen, it helps to examine the military service that shaped his perspectives. Enlisting at the outset of the war in 1942, Marvin underwent paramilitary training to become a scout sniper, a role that exposed him to heavy combat. The actor participated in numerous campaigns, witnessing the horrors of war firsthand during pivotal battles like Saipan and Mount Tapochau. It was a perilous duty that earned him a Purple Heart after he was seriously wounded in action. Through these nightmarish crucibles, the young Marine developed an outlook on war highly informed by personal experience. He observed the tedium, terror, and carnage of battle, as well as the anguish of seeing comrades killed and maimed. It ingrained in Marvin a sobering comprehension of war's devastating toll. Consequently, when he transitioned to acting after the war, Marvin brought a flinty understanding of combat that was lacking for those without his background. He scoffed at Hollywood films that dramatized war through a lens of glorification or simplification. In his view, this failed to honor the Americans who fought and died serving their country. His estimation of the acclaimed The Big Red One showed much greater admiration, largely to screenwriter Samuel Fuller having been an infantryman. Ultimately, his unique vantage point as a decorated Marine combat vet gave him an extraordinary frame of reference concerning cinematic portrayals of war. Critical reception and box office success. Upon its 1967 release, The Dirty Dozen garnered enthusiastic reviews from critics and dominated the box office, emerging as one of the highest-grossing films of the decade. The overwhelming commercial success stood ironic next to Lee Marvin's persistent criticism of the film. Many contemporary reviews praised The Dirty Dozen as a bold, testosterone-fueled spectacle that reimagined the men-on-a-mission war movie formula. Renowned film critic Roger Ebert declared it unusually good, while other appreciative notices hailed director Robert Aldrich's aggressive style and the film's simple, brutal code of masculinity. In the years since its release, it's remained highly regarded as a landmark of the action-oriented war genre that upended decorum in favor of explosive violence and black comedic tones. Its prominence in pop culture endures thanks to an all-star ensemble cast turning in iconic tough guy performances. Yet the film's ascent to bankable franchise status contrasted sharply with Lee Marvin's detached scorn towards it. Where most people saw a commercial triumph that resonated with the anti-authoritarian sentiments of the 60s, Marvin viewed what he dismissively dubbed a dummy moneymaker. Yet the irony remains that Marvin so openly spurned the very vehicle that made him a bigger star and a household name. In later years, the actor playfully groused about fans requesting his Dirty Dozen autograph over those from classic films like The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance that Marvin held in much higher esteem. Now it's time to hear from you. Did learning about Marvin's perspective change how you think about war movies and their accuracy? Let us know in the comments section below.